Okay, this was shared with me by another sub. It's the Tale of the Two Zodiacs. And it's an article that was written about a program that was done by the BBC, talking about the difference between tropical astrology and sidereal astrology. It talks about the precessions, the two different zodiacs. The system that calculates the spring equinox as the beginning of Aries was called tropical, pertaining to the celestial tropics. In my opinion, this was set up a long time ago, and Aries is no longer in the spring. The same problem Julius Caesar had, that the festivals were falling out of their time because they had locked their clock, and they're going to have a time quake. In Sanskrit, it is called the sayana, meaning the Sa, the equinoxes, and Ayana, the tropical system, basically kept the seasonal positions with stellar nomenclature of the 209 CE zodiac as standard. I calculated it a little bit different than there because of the time the sun moves. The system that calculated the exact star position of the spring equinox and used the exact star positions of the planets is called sidereal. This will help you understand the two. What am I doing? What I'm doing is probably closer to the sidereal, but I don't do sidereal astrology. I'm doing alchemical astrology, so it's not either one of these. Some of the knowledge comes from both, but it's based on the elements and the alchemical magical wheel that we call the Zodiac. A recent BBC documentary called Western Tropical Signs Wrong, outdated, and many articles have spread based on this concept. Those who promote tropical astrology has taken this very personally, and indeed they have. The documentary brings out the tropical zodiac issues. The sign of the tropical zodiac do not correlate given to the stars used by astronomers. The argument used by tropical astrologers is that the signs don't correlate to the stars and the star position is irrelevant. The issue with that is that ancient and modern astronomers use the ancient star names, and the sidereal astrologers use them as well. In the divorce, tropical astrology has lost the names. Big problem. They have and used for signs. The signification they have used for these signs has developed to bring out seasonal nature imprinted on an individual at birth, which is not indicated by the star names. Everything is about those star names. Everything. That's where we get Thalem. That's where we get the Lamb. That's where we get everything. But you have to go back to the proper legend and the proper source. Tropical astrology is using one legend to try to read a different map. The map changed, but they're still using the old legend. You can also put the word myth, stories, or it is the god, of course, the god of Aries, Mars. This is based, tropical astrology is based on Mars, or war in control. The fire god, the cardinal fire, which is part of the alchemical wheel. It's always great to read footnotes. You have to go the extra mile if you want to learn this knowledge. I'm trying to share it with you as much as possible on a really basic scale. But there's so much more that if you don't literally have degrees in linguistics and this and that, you're not going to catch on. You're going to have somebody show it to you. But if you can train yourself to think a different way, the new zodiac that's coming, they're planning on revealing it soon. It's already pre-imposed. The story's already been told. They're trying to, the scribes scribble the scriptures to try to deviate from that. They don't want you to know the truth. 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 They don't want you If you knew the truth, then you're literally free from the lie, that delusion. The new Zodiac that's coming is going to reveal itself. It is already revealing itself in many different people, in many different ways, because everything is connected to everything else. But it's going to be basic. All the traditions of men are being stripped away, and we're going to be left with literally pure alchemy. It's magic, and we need to learn how to wield this magic. That's why learning these alchemical symbols is so important. When you put all of the different traditions around the world, when you look at everybody's zodiac, or everybody's ancient knowledge, everybody had a piece of the pie. It is the body of Osiris. It was cut up, and everybody was given a piece. So that everybody's wrong and nobody's right unless everybody comes together and puts what they have in the circle. And then you have all of the pieces. And it's pre-imposed around the world. The builders did this. They built the buildings and the architecture to go with the constellation and the planets that part of the world rules. It was divided up just like the circle in the sky. We're standing in the age of Capricorn when you're in North America, South America being Aquarius, and they're supposed to be one. They're Baphomet, they're Pan, they're both ruled by Saturn, and all things were given to Thalo. All things were given to the Lamb. So, what we have here is them trying to put up this wall. The word wall is opposite the word law. It's reversed and backwards. It's more of having to do with casting the spell. It isn't about getting the wall. It's about the media and talking about the wall and about immigration and aliens, because there are many different meanings to the same word. You're told one story when there's a whole nother story. And if you want to know how to read the stories that are within the stories, you must know this wheel. You must know your chart, your cross, your natal chart, and you must know these astrological symbols and these alchemical symbols and their relations to the metals, to the chakras. Let's start back up here at the very top of this article. The English word zodiac literally means circle of animals, a zoo circle. The Sanskrit word for the grouping of the constellations is bachakra. Chakra means a circle or wheel. The earliest Vedic Samhitas saw the movement of the sun and the progression of time as the turning of a wheel. Ba means light, star, or constellations. The Bachakra is the circle of lights or the wheel of stars. This circle of stars can be divided in an infinite number of ways. I will share some of the views of divisions of these stars and their evolutions. I'm going to leave a link to this article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. This is your homework. But keep in mind, it helps to know these different points of view. And then you can come to begin to understand the alchemy behind it all, the magic behind it all. Your natal chart, you're the magician in the middle of that circle. But they've literally got us casting spells upon ourselves using wordplay. Because you don't understand what a gray alien is. And they feed you propaganda. They feed you fear. You have to decide when you hear information which tree it's coming from. If it comes from a tree that produces fear, you know that fruit, then you know the tree. If it comes from the truth sets you free. So if it's coming from a place of truth, then you know which tree. if it makes you afraid or not. Let's take a look at this word right quick. I've got a lot of Saturn information just pouring out. There's a lot of revealing going on. So I guess when you say Saturn, you could say Thalem as well, because if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So Saturn dealing with all things that are spirit, that breath of life, that living water. And then you've got the truth. The truth sets you free. You're supposed to worship in spirit and in truth. So in the word, truth is the T, which is the Zodiac, and Ru, which is red, for the firstborn, Reuben, which is Aquarius, and then the TH of Saturn. So it's the Zodiac, the red house of the Zodiac, ruled by Saturn. That's the word truth. And that's the truth. And you can get it from the spirit. And a child can understand it that doesn't know how to read. Everybody on this planet that has an education has been initiated. I've said this before. You're already initiated into the mystery schools. Every religion on this planet has a water ritual, a water cleansing ritual. You get baptized, you get christened, some of them drink it. Even Islam, they must wash their face and their hands before they can pray or before they can eat. They must do this cleansing ritual daily, all the time. So Mars and Jupiter are working together, which is opposite this truth. That's about confusion. We've seen that on the wheel, this opposition that goes on. And the sidereal and the tropical zodiac, to me, are both in opposition. They're part of that opposition, so you need to see them both. You need to understand them both. You can't dismiss one. That's like dismissing one is ruled by the patriarch and one's ruled by the matriarch. And you have to have both. But when Saturn in this age comes in, we're going to get a new zodiac. And I think this alchemical wheel that we're looking at is where it's going to go. And then those symbols and that turning that led to gold, that Saturn to the sun. There's a lot more to be said. There's great change about time that'll happen, because we do come to a place in the zodiac or in the scriptures that time will be no more. And that can, as well, you're talking about Saturn. So you can always interchange these words for the other words. You change, because that's where they get us. We think they're talking about common law, and they're talking about corporate law. We think they're talking about religion, and they're talking about astronomy. But it's all magic. This is a very magical place. This is where things happen. It's all right here, front and center on a stage. The Zodiac is also known as the Opera House. We're in the Opera House. So we're on a big play. The Earth is the stage. And those spotlights on, everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame. Okay, I'm going to end this on that, and I'll leave the link for you in the description box.